The
if you will.
Disclosure Corner. We have Indulgement Island. We have Never Enough EP, 10 songs, 45 minutes long. But I mean, kind of, because there's 2 discs, but the second disc is just edits. So there's
Yeah.
5 tracks on it.
Yeah.
And
My opinion?
yeah, how about it?
Eh.
Really?
Eh.
This he said
Said
I just said
What's
I just said
What's supposed to mean? I just said
I just said
I showed someone
I
that
can get
Boondocks episode and it was good.
That's beautiful. I can get on board with that for 2 things. One, it's an EP, so they like to explore a little bit on their EPs and stuff on Disclosure. Like they've naturally done that. Like never forget Bane that when we both go, what in the Jesus Lord's name are they doing? Desecrating the Lord's name with Bane that, but then eventually we ended up really enjoying that track. But after their 2020 record, I can't think of it off the top of my head, with that kind of reinventing their sound a little bit because they've been around for a while within like the Disclosure lore. There's been lots of different sounds throughout their couple records. Never Enough kind of reverts back to an older-ish sound, but mixing an older-ish sound with their newer sound, and it seems awkward for a couple of tracks. A couple other tracks are fantastic. But like example, the opening of Never Enough, it sounds just oddly mixed to me for like how it's like almost like subtle era Disclosure, but then mixing that with their Afrobeats Disclosure, like kind of mixing those two. I'm like, well, that's an interesting idea for it. But then you have other ones in here of Happening, which I really like that track and everything, where you can get like that old school, like garage influences, like some old school dubstep influences and stuff in there, which I really like that. So it's just interesting for how to hear it.
I mean, my maybe harsh take is that it feels like Disclosure has these patterns where they release an album and they release some EPs of like essentially throwaway songs from that album era, and then they take a break and then they get back to the drawing board and make some new things. And this feels like those throwaway songs.
I can 100% feel these are throwaway songs though, because they sound similar to like within the era of their last album release, but it just sounds really awkward.
Yeah. To me, like, yeah, it just sounds like not different enough from Settle to be like a Settle upgrade, not like Settle enough to be like in the first album to be like a decent throwback like Running was, which is like a pure that era Disclosure that came out, the 2021 VIP remix that I still love and bop all the time.
Never forget Running, because when that first came out in like 2014, I was like this shit, or
Disclosure bonus for more. Disclosure bonus for more.
Yes.
Bonus episode I'm talking about you can get wherever on YouTube and podcasts and stuff. But the only 2 songs for me, so like, yeah, In My Arms also did this like a fuller Afro beats thing, and it just wasn't quite working for me. The song to me that I liked the most was Seduction at the end. I feel like I feel like that's the one where Disclosure are most in their element doing a thing that is, you know, like because what the reason why I go towards this throwaway thing is because they have a pattern of doing this. So there's also like the Moonlight EP, for example.
Yes.
There's Moog for Love EP, which were like all these things. I think all these things, those past EPs were better than this, I'll say.
Moog for Love was a fantastic EP.
Yeah.
You had Boss and then the others track too. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they were good EPs for songs that didn't fit on
Feel Like I Do.
Yeah, I Feel Like I Do. There we go. Feel Like I Do, Boss, and I think there's one other one, but like those didn't fit necessarily on that record, but they were all fantastic tracks on their own. To me, these are unfinished ideas or ideas that just didn't necessarily work out. But Seduction and Happening are the 2 that I actually enjoyed a bit, where like it can give me that throwbacky sound, and you can take these sounds and explore more options on there. They're just not complete. Yeah. It's more of like you did this as like a rough school project or a Dan trying to finish the episode 200 Audioface song, and you're just like, oh, okay, you know, I need to get it out here, put it up. I'm playing.
But actually,
the by the way, side note, if you put a fucking melodica on our goddamn theme, I'm firing you.
I don't have the. I mean, I actually do have the equipment. I just don't have the. Well, now you gave me the idea, so now I have the
Oh
equipment. So,
shit! I should have
um,
said that. Okay. Side note: I would laugh my ass off if we actually put like one tiny like note of it in there. I would just holler. But anyways.
the original Audioface jingle, like episodes 1 through 50, was just like, yeah, it had a melodica in it. And I took it out actually because it annoyed me in editing. So I actually don't think it'll be coming back. But back to Disclosure, I want to say that in those like other EPs you expressed, those very much felt like, yeah, EPs from that era, like Sean was saying earlier. And this feels era-less in that way, and not like in a good way. It just kind of feels like it's lost.
No,
And
it's awkward.
the point to that is I'm not necessarily expecting this to be an example of, okay, what's Disclosure got next? Because they only just released their album last year, again, this time last year. So they're still pretty fresh off that. They haven't even really gotten a chance to tour it for external reasons, let's say.
Multitudes of reasons.
Yeah. But so I'm not expecting like a full, oh, their sound has radically changed from this, but I'm expecting like some direction, some purpose. This is just like, a collection of songs, which again, like at least they're doing a collection of songs as in random EP. They're like, hey, here's literally a collection of songs. It's not like a drop or whatever, but like, yeah, we're doing this to kind of like to indulge ourselves. We are often very critical with artists we do enjoy. And so there's that. Yeah.
But the nice thing of have them releasing these is it gives other people opportunities to remix these tracks. Like you can remix and like put seduction in different like house beats and stuff, or different house mixes, and make it sound amazing. By itself, and all these tracks by himself, they're okay. But if you give it in the hands of somebody else, then you can be like, oh wow, you could make it sound amazing. So I think that's kind of cool in that regard, especially with Disclosure, because a lot of like underground artists, or a lot of DJs and stuff do use a lot of Disclosure. Like Scream uses some Disclosure tracks and stuff to mix in with other things. It'd be interesting to see what other people do with it. I'll report back on my findings if that does happen, which I hope it does.
That's true. That's true. Arbitrary scales we do on every episode of Audioface because actual rating scales don't really matter at all. And what we said in the review is what actually matters. Damn it, bro. I'm saying it because I'm already talking like him anyways. This is gonna be Hassan Piker's house in Hollywood. Yeah, it's honestly really bland, really boxy looking. I would say he has no taste, but I also know what he cooks for dinner, and so that's absolutely true. Overall, I'm glad for him. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's got a good house, and I hope he enjoys at least 6 seconds of peace and quiet without some news outlet covering every waking movement that he makes. And this has been The Breakdown.
Hassan up. I am Hassan Piker, and this has been The Breakdown. Dun, dun, dun.
Triggered. Oh my god. Hassan and Francis and Rick, and also the folks who edited those videos, like Alex and Hank.
Bless their hearts.
Were traumatized. So, holy cursed. Anyways, you're going with that house too?
What?
You're going with that
Yeah,
house
I'm definitely going with that house just because of how awkwardly shaped it is. just because when I first saw it, I'm like, that's a really interesting design, but well, you were in WeHo, so like there's no space to make shit. So
yeah, that's. I love how they tried to make he's Turkish. It's Mediterranean style. That was just the most happy shit like ever.
Who's saying that?
I fucking the website dirt.com.
Oh, did it say that? That's amazing.
Yes. That's
amazing.
Apparently they're like on TYT House Watch, so I need to be very careful when I make my next moves.
Yeah, I gotta say, because they got everybody's on their dogs, so they got articles and articles on them. You gotta be careful.